there's something I can give you in exchange for everything you give to me. Read my mind, you make me feel just fine when I think my peace of mind is out of reach. The scales are sometimes unbalanced, and you bear the weight of all that has to be. I hope you see that you can lean on me, and together we can calm the stormy seas. We love so strong and so unselfishly, and I tell you now that I made a vow. I'm giving you the best that I've got, baby. Yes, I tell you now that I made a vow. I'm giving you the best that I've got, honey. Everybody's got opinions about the way they think our story's gonna end. Some folks feel it's just a superficial thrill. Everybody's gonna have to think again. We love so strong and so unselfishly. They don't bother me, so I'm gonna keep on giving you the best that I've got, baby. They don't bother me, said I'm gonna keep on giving you the best that I got. Listen, baby, somebody understands me. Somebody gave his hand to me. I stumbled my whole life long, always on my own. Now I'm home, and the weary mind is rested.
I think we're 100 days from NFL football, which makes us less than 100 days from college football.
What's good, brother? Let me turn this. I was over here. My bad, y'all. If y'all listening, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 105 of the Splash Cast Saturday Morning Live. I was over here in my own little world with my cleanup music playing, aka the Splash Cast 36 pack.
It's still in process, still loading.
The next Splash Cast 12, 24, 36 pack for next week. I got a sneak preview as y'all was listening, and I was up here jamming to Anita Baker. So my bad, y'all, but welcome. Oh, microphone's over here. Y'all know how it is. We over here getting stuff set up, man. Welcome to episode 105 of the Splash Cast, the Saturday Morning Live NBA Finals edition, I guess is what we'll call it.
Sounds good. I like it. Where do you would like to start? And I'm sober. Where would you like to start? That's the question that I was trying to ask.
So before we get started, they can always do what, man?
Like, follow, subscribe, tell other people about the podcast. Of course, go check out the brand new shiny website, www.thesplashcast.com. My face is there. Reggie's face is there. Find everything you need Splashcast right there on the website.
So, where do I want to start? Let's start.
Heat Nuggets.
I was actually going to start with Hero Van Gundy, because Hero Van Gundy goes back to the Boston Celtics, Miami Heat rivalry. Well, I guess you can't call it a rivalry, but
we're gonna see what the Celtics look like next year, and should be interesting what the Heat look like next year.
Yeah, so I only brought Stan Van Gundy up because I just wanted to talk about the Heat Celtics. I can't believe that the Celtics should have bricked like that in Game 7. Now, I will say, I don't care. I didn't care if the Heat won or lost. I didn't care if the Celtics won or lost. It could have been a tie.
I did.
It could have been the longest Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 in history, and everybody was fatigued. Didn't matter to me. But I did say, what was the one thing I did not want to happen? And I jinxed that man. I said, what is the one thing I do not want to happen for
Jones was good.
I said I don't want anybody to get hurt. Remember we said that? I was like, that's the only thing that could probably ruin it is if somebody gets hurt.
That's
Lo and behold, what the hell happened?
First
Jason Tatum gets hurt on the first play of the game. That was sickening to watch.
But they shouldn't have let it go 7 games in the first place. That's my only answer to that.
I mean, the Heat were on a heater.
The Boston
no
Celtics,
pun intended, but
I see what you did there. The Boston Celtics, if you look at that roster, they're supposed to beat the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat beat them on will alone. I am a firm believer that you don't, specifically with the new collective bargaining agreement, you don't bring back Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for $613 million, which might as well be $613 trillion. I assume that they flip because they're going to double down on Tatum. Whether that's the right answer or the wrong answer, we will see.
Tatum proved himself at the end of the day. That game 7, first the Sixers, after being down 3-2, going to Philly, having a bad game, then basically willing them to win in game 6, and then 50+ in game 7 closeout against Philly in the MVP, they're doubling down on him easily.
I am still a firm believer that I think Jaylen Brown is the better player, but they are more than welcome to do that.
Still?
Congratulations to yes, without a doubt. It's too many times where I see Tatum go a half and have 2 points, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. But
Jaylen Brown had 9. Okay, so Jaylen Brown, I thought at the beginning of the playoffs, I was like, he is the best top 3, top 2 two-way guards in the league, if not the best one. And I was like, you've got to pay him. You got to pay him. There have been a lot of flaws that have been exposed in the playoffs against Jaylen Brown. He reminds me of a little bit more of DeJounte Murray. Here's why. He plays decent defense. He gets beat a lot. But he also gambles, which is why he gets beat. His handle is not as good. Huh? Go ahead.
He always has the most difficult defensive cover.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I think I would beg to differ that now. Jones. I would beg to differ that now because Derek White has stepped up so much, as well as Marcus Smart is normally there to subsidize. But also, his handle is awful. He got ripped in Game 7. Like, I attribute 5 of those to his handle and 3 of those to just like mental. It's like, you know how like you get in your own head if you miss 4 shots in a row, you know you probably, if you get in your own head, you miss 4 more just because you feel like you know you're gonna miss them. I feel like that's what happened when he was dribbling. He knew he was gonna get ripped. He got ripped by Kyle Lowry like 3 times and Jimmy Butler like 3 possessions in a row. I was like, well,
this is the part that people forget. He had to have stitches in his hands because remember his hand was cut. Also, I've been saying for a
he hurt his elbow too.
Yes, I said for a long time the Celtics' biggest opportunity was to trade Marcus Smart when he won Defensive Player of the Year. The Celtics are a good team.
Nobody does that.
Please hold on. The thing is, they don't strengthen their 2 best players. They don't have a point guard who can facilitate. So their offense is isolation ball, and their 2 best players shooting the hardest shots every time. There's never a point where Jason Tatum gets an easy shot. There's never a point where Jaylen Brown gets an easy shot. They should have flipped Marcus Smart once he won Defensive Player of the Year for a guy who can facilitate. You have to be able to help your best players be their best selves. Right now, they just got to be world beaters every night.
Man, I challenge you to go back. I will give you all summer to go back where the reigning defensive player of the year is shipped.
I don't care about that.
You're saying a scenario that will never happen. Unless they force their way out, nobody will ever trade the defensive player of the year, the MVP, or anything unless they force their way out. So you saying they should have flipped Marcus Smart makes no sense at the time. It's easy to
Okay.
say, "Oh, you should have done it back
Wait.
then," but nobody's gonna do that. Nobody
No.
in any sport.
Did-
I challenge. I give you every single sport.
Did I tell you as soon as he won that trophy that they should trade him? Yes or no?
We literally just talked about it. I said it makes no sense.
You have to take your ego and all of what other people are telling you out of it. At the end of the day, I've gotten Marcus Smart, who is a good asset, to as good as he is going to be. At this very moment, it is the time to sell that asset. I know that
Why? So then, why can't you say that about Giannis, or why can't you say that about anybody else?
Oh,
Marcus Smart is
because
also in his prime. Like you're trying to sell a defensive player of the year in his prime. That's what you're saying.
Yes. The reason you don't say that about Giannis is a generational talent and a Hall of Famer. Marcus Smart is not either one of those. He's just a really good basketball player. That guy, Giannis, is the best person on your team. Marcus Smart is your not one, not two.
At the time, he was the best defender. I probably would say he's still the best defender on the team.
Who, if you look at it, he's maybe the third best player on that team?
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes.
Offensively, yeah. Offensively, yeah. Defensively, he's the best player on the team.
I mean, a healthy Robert Williams, I'm probably leaning into a little bit more. But that's a different conversation for a different day. At the end of the day, as soon as he won Defensive Player of the Year, I said trade that man because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't get enough help. And they didn't. And
who's Defensive Player of the Year this year? Or who's supposed to be Defensive Player of the Year this year? I guess they haven't announced it. Who was it last year?
That was a good question. Wasn't it Marcus Smart last year? If they're not a generational talent and you've gotten that player to be a Defensive Player of the Year, and he doesn't do
in their prime now, in their prime, that's very, very important.
Amazon Prime, Prime Time, whatever you want to call it, I'm flipping Marcus Smart. I said that for a reason, and I was right.
I think you just like to try to hear yourself be proven right. You can't be right about a point that nobody is gonna say. Yo, nobody. No. I don't need anybody else to qualify me being right. If I said you should have traded Jalen, what's his name, Marcus Smart, and you didn't, and you don't have a facilitator, and they still need one. That's the reason. So you're saying so he won it last year. So you're saying they should have traded him last offseason.
Yes. Yes. Congratulations. Adios.
Wow.
That's his highest value was last year.
To me. And he wasn't even the worst player on the court for the team in the playoffs. He was the best defensive player, and he had more points than Jaylen Brown, I think, in Game 7. Less turnovers.
All of that is inconsequential. He doesn't help your best players be their best selves. And in the NBA now,
and his contract is better. Ain't no way. Maybe. They may trade him this year. They have to do something now, and they have to blow it up. But I don't think I don't know what they do.
If you're not getting Jason Tatum a legitimate point guard this season, then you might as well just throw it away. That's always been my stance about the Celtics. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to be world beaters consistently.
Who's a legitimate point guard that they could? So if they keep Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who's a legitimate point guard that they could?
I gotta see what Phoenix and I haven't spent a lot of time looking into this, so I'm not sure of who's available. I would consider maybe Chris Paul if Phoenix is.
You're trading Marcus Smart, so you gotta assume most of the point guards are available that you can afford.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I might be interested in a Chris Paul if Phoenix buys him out. If Phoenix is willing to pay half the fare, then yeah, I might be interested in paying the other half because I know he's a top tier facilitator. I know this is not the right time.
Could you afford him?
If Phoenix is willing to pay half of it, yeah.
Why would they do that? They got. You've been saying these, boy. You haven't been this in a long time, but you have put on your 2K GM hat today. But go ahead.
Okay, the reason I'm telling you that is they can buy him out, and instead of paying him the 40-something odd million that they got to pay him
20-something.
Exactly, and then you still have cap space, so you can go get you a guy in that'll be available when you absolutely need him at the end of the season. I know that this is going to be a sensitive time to talk about this. D'Angelo Russell. Eventually, he's going to be available until the
I don't dislike that.
Exactly.
I don't dislike.
We were talking about him being a lifelong Laker until that last series, and then it went left.
Well, we were saying the same thing about Jaylen Brown.
No, we were not. I have always been saying that the money ain't on this, and it's not straight. $613 million is too much.
But we were talking about, if they win the title, like, you had to pay him. If they did this, if they perform well, it's the same thing with the defensive player of the year. If they win the title, you got to pay Jaylen Brown.
I honestly, once again, I'm heartless and emotionless. I think I got to make the best decision for my team going forward. Sinking $613 million into two players with the new CBA, that ain't gonna fly with me, bro. That's a bad situation. That's gonna put you in a bad situation long term. And it's unfortunate that you fell into the exact wrong. You and Phoenix and the Clippers fell into this at the exact wrong time. If you would have known this is how the CBA was gonna fall, you set your team up differently. But they changed the CBA after you just traded for these players, or your players just developed at the right time. You have to make them. You have to make amends and do something different. We're gonna watch now what looks more like, instead of a bunch of super teams, it's gonna look like NBA Jam. You're gonna have your two superstars. The stars are gonna have to be paid less in order for you to have better players around them, or they're gonna have to be world beaters. Those are gonna be your two options going forward. And I think that a lot of these lower tier teams are going to be able to poach guys who are better players because they're going to be able to pay. That third guy probably going to end up on the Pistons now.
Yeah, possibly. So we ain't gonna talk about Jeff again. I will say, Jaylen Brown, you burnt money faster than the Joker in The Dark Knight. You burnt, I think you did, because he'd have to sign and trade. He can't get the Supermax, I don't believe, if he's traded.
If they didn't win the championship, he wasn't going to get the Supermax anyway. So
you assume.
I mean, sure. I mean, they would have won, beat the Heat, and then had to win the championship for them to Supermax him. I told you, worst case scenario is to beat the Heat, come back after being down 0-3, and then get to the Nuggets and lose. Because then you're really stuck. Do we pay this guy or not? And I still think the answer is no. And
I'm not sure. I don't know if. Yeah, they do. They lose versus the Nuggets, but I don't know if they really. I think they're a better matchup for the Nuggets than the Heat are, by far.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Because the Nuggets don't have anybody to guard Jason Tatum.
You got to take care of business first.
Jimmy Butler, man.
But
hey, Jimmy. Oh, go ahead.
As far as that goes, I'm not everywhere else. They're still going to max him. Whatever the most money is that you can pay Jaylen Brown as a non-Celtics team, you're going to pay him because he's that good. He's second team All NBA. He's an all-star. He's everything that you want. He's a two-way wing guard, whatever you want to call those guys now. He does it. He didn't have a great series. It is what it is, but I find so many times people start living in the moment of the last time you saw them play basketball, not the entire season.
Who you talking about?
That dude, Jaylen Brown and D'Angelo Russell, because people have quickly abandoned ship.
Nah, D'Angelo Russell's different because the money that he wants, I don't know if he does. He wants a wild amount of money.
No. Remember, he is an unrestricted free agent. He's not owed any money at this point. So
you can be offered an offer sheet though, and the money that he wants, if a sorry team is willing to pay it.
I think he's off their books altogether. He's an unrestricted free agent.
Unrestricted, not restricted.
Yes. The only thing they can do with him is a sign and trade. I do hear that they're interested in trying to do a sign and trade with him, but I like D'Angelo Russell. He's good enough. He's probably not going to break. I think he's a $20-25 million player. That's what you pay for a good starting player right now. That's what we pay for Bogey.
Why do you like D'Angelo Russell?
Because he can still facilitate, he can still score, and he's not going to be super expensive. Like when I'm like the reason that I like him is I start looking at other guys. Look at what you're paying Kyle Lowry. Look what you're paying Chris Paul. That's another that's a whole extra player that you're paying them.
D'Angelo Russell is awful defensively. He's unplayable in the fourth quarter.
You're gonna have to surround him with guys who play defense. But what I'm saying is, with D'Angelo Russell, I can buy another player. So I can spend $20 million, $25 million on D'Angelo Russell. I can still get another player for somewhere between $10 to $13 million for the cost of a Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry. I'm trying to think of other like point guards are expensive now. They ain't cheap. Look at what look at what DeJounte's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid upward $30-something million a year.
Yeah, we'll get there hopefully in the offseason talking about the contracts. So the Hawks are kind of in a precarious situation too, but they have pieces that they could trade to make it all work. But let's get to the crux of the matter. Hello, game one. We were going to talk about game one. Life. So life. So we didn't get on there on Thursday, and it looks like my point never changed anyway. I was picking Denver to go to win in 3 anyway, and
Denver to win in 3. How you going?
Denver they gonna beat the shit out because this is why I picked Denver. This is my serious prediction. It'll be a gentleman's sweep if Denver decides not to show up. If Denver decides not to show up and Miami and Jimmy have an outer body experience similar to Game 7 against Milwaukee, that will be it. Their good? Game 7, what's up, Eugene? Their Game 7 will be Game 4. That will be, or Game 3. That will be Miami's Game 7. We out here not to get embarrassed because they can't do nothing with Joker. I will put some respect on Spoelstra's name, so I won't. I'm being funny, but he may make an adjustment for Game 2. But it is it looking like a summer barbecue on 4th of July out there today. In this series, Bam Adebayo is on the menu.
Do not be a prisoner of the moment. Always remember game one in Denver is an altitude changer. You have to get at least semi-acclimated with the air. So I knew that that's what it was. They only beat them by like 11 points. I'm perfectly fine with in Jimmy.
They beat them by way more than 11. The final score is not indicative of how that game went. They were down by 21 in the fourth quarter.
With that said, I think that the Heat have a good chance of winning Game 2. If not Game 2, I definitely think they go to Miami and Jimmy's gonna get his at home without a doubt.
Both of them? You think it's going 6?
No. I think out of the next 2 games. Now I do believe the Nuggets win this, but I don't think that they go. I don't think the Heat go quietly into the night like the Lakers do.
I'm not saying quietly. Listen, they can have. It can be a close Game 3. It can be a close Game 4, but the results still gonna be the same. From what I saw in Game 1, bruh, they ain't nothing about altitude and size. Joker, when the Heat started hitting them threes, he said, "You know what? Cool. No more standing at the elbow. Going straight to the paint." And he went straight to the paint. Joker didn't have a shot in the first quarter. I think he had like 8 points in the first half. He ended with like 29.
But this is the other part. I think next time Spoelstra goes with more Cody Zeller and more Kevin Love. Just size-wise, those guys match up a little bit better. Sure. And they also give you 6 fouls. So worst come to worst, beat him up. And at least
so you're saying they go put him at the 4?
Who?
Cody Zeller or Kevin Love?
No. At the 5. I want
and Cody put Bam Zeller at the 4?
Yes. At least I want to try to keep Bam out of foul trouble until later into the game.
And then you put Jimmy Butler on who?
I'm probably using Jimmy as my fire extinguisher. Whoever is doing the best job is who he's gonna have to get. That's just gonna have to be it. If it's Jamal Murray, then it's Jamal Murray. Now I will say Michael Porter Jr. He didn't
tell me more.
He didn't shoot that great. I don't know if the moment is too big for him. I also know he doesn't have a ton of experience. It's risky to say, but I'm probably gonna have to. Your best bet is to try to get.
You sound like you searching, big dog. You sound like I ain't gonna lie to you. You sound like you searching.
I mean, yes, the other team is better. You're searching. We're all searching. When you go out and you play against somebody who's better than you, you are searching for an answer. But yes, I'm starting Cody Zeller at 5. I'm playing Bam at 4. Jimmy Butler at 3. What's this game? 2. So no, you don't have Tyler Hero yet. And then I'm playing Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. And I'm just whoever you're gonna start out guarding your guy, but if somebody gets hot, that guy's Jimmy's guy. Jimmy, you got to do it. I hate it. Got to be you, but it's got to be you. I'm gonna try to save Bam's fouls for the fourth quarter, and then I'll move Bam to the 5. I would probably try to keep Kevin Love on the floor a little bit more though, just because you can probably move the ball and get him some open threes.
Not gonna lie to you. All that sounds like is that you going from barbecue to rotisserie to deep fried to all of that. Cody Zeller, Bam, Kevin Love. What's the dude they got out there? Hermanguez, 677. All of y'all are just 4 different types of chicken that's about to be thrown on the flame.
I will play all of those guys. You're at 7, Jokic. The other one, I would roll
48 fouls. That's fine. And Joker shoot like 89% from the free throw line. Like that's the like. Listen. The defensive lineup you have to start the game is really good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kevin Love or whatever at the 5, barbecue chicken. But at least you stop Aaron Gordon from babying Caleb Martin or anybody else that you tried to put on him. I like that. Until they get tired. Because now you've played all of your bench bigs. You played all of your bench bigs in the starting lineup. At least you played 3 of them in the first 6-man rotation.
Yeah. No. He's not my no.
You starting either Kevin Love or Cody Zeller at the 5, right?
Correct.
They only have a 3-man big rotation. They don't play anybody else. It's Bam, Kevin Love, and what's his name?
I will play those other guys. If for anything other than just foul him hard. You're right. He gonna make them, but if we all punch you 7 times a game, you'll be like, man, this hurts. And then we'll fly.
Bro, that's like punching Mike Tyson 7 times and then him hitting you once.
No, Joker ain't. Well, we gonna see.
They just had a 30-point triple-double.
Wait.
He didn't take a shot in the first quarter.
Time out. Well, the other alternative with Mike Tyson is to just let him punch you. Oh no, that's not the answer. That is surely not the answer.
Josh said so we're on. Oh, shout out to everybody on YouTube, Facebook. Also, shout out to everybody on Instagram. The chats over to the right. On YouTube, Josh says he would let Joker score 75 points to beat you. And see, that's the problem though. Because if he scores 75, Joker's 7 feet. You cannot stop him from getting assists. It's impossible.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, once he hits about that hot 30, you're going to look like a fool. Because he's going to have 30 probably midway through the second quarter.
Need the Herschel Walker GIF.
Yeah, you're going to get about midway through the second quarter, and he's going to have 30 points, and you're going to have to double him at that point, or the world is going to look. You're going to just go to Twitter and get flambéed like your team is. And at that point, you really can't stop him because he's hot, and as soon as you double kick, and then you're going to make him look like the best basketball player in world history.
Yeah,
so no.
But we've only talked about Joker in these 15 minutes that we talked about the series. Michael Porter Jr. was 2 of 11, and they were up 21 points.
Yes, that is who I'm making beat me. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr.
Aaron Gordon did beat you in the first quarter. He beat you.
I agree, but that's the lesser of 2 evils in my book.
And we haven't even talked about Jamal Murray, who got 2 off-vert, 2-hand standing dunks in the paint as a point guard because you decided to put Kyle Lowry and I didn't realize he was that much bigger than Caleb Martin. Like they really have 2 players, maybe 3, possibly 4, that they just don't match up with.
Correct. Now Caleb Martin has to play way better. Jimmy has to play better.
I think the altitude did get to the role players. I think he got to the role players.
And yeah, without a doubt, that the altitude is a game changer. Your air is fundamental to your existence. A lack of it is problematic. Trust me, as a person who has asthma, it ain't the same, my friend. Breathing is valuable. But either way, I'm picking the Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets
Five,
in
six,
3.
5-6.
Nah, Nuggets in 5. I'll take Nuggets. And I think Spo will be able to coach himself to a win. I don't know. And between Spo, Jimmy, and Udonis Haslem threatening to beat everybody up, they'll get one win. When they get this win, I don't know. Now,
That's a fact. That's about fair.
if they get a win tonight, then tomorrow. They play tomorrow. If they get a win tomorrow,
Damn, I thought they played tonight.
if they get a win tomorrow, then we gonna come back on here on Monday and be like, whoo, whoo, whoo.
I mean, this is the thing. I feel like the Heat destined to lose this. Their championship was beating the Celtics. Soon as you came out of the East, I think they deserve their own specific ring for that, being an AC and, just doing what they did to get there. This was a fantastic season for them. But you're just right up against
AJ said straight sweep.
You're playing a team that that is peaking right now. And they've had the opportunity to kind of mature and matriculate as players. So they're mature and they're playing their own level of elite basketball right now. You don't have the team for it. It's not that you don't have the will.
I'm gonna pre-pause this whole statement, but you don't have the size. You don't have the size. Like they're the Nuggets. When I saw them come out for the tip, I gotta pre-pause all of this. Come out for the opening tip, and they stood and they matched up. I was like, okay. At the one, Jamal Murray. I don't even know who they started. Gabe Vincent. Jamal Murray's bigger than Gabe Vincent. Okay, cool. At the 2, who's their starting 2? Who's the Nuggets starting 2?
Caleb Martin.
Nuggets.
Oh, probably Bruce Brown, maybe.
He don't start. Oh, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. KCP at the 2.
That's it.
Dang, he's bigger than Caleb Martin. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoever at the 3, Max Strus. Aaron Gordon's bigger than Max Strus. I'm sorry. Aaron Gordon's bigger than Jimmy Butler. At the 4, Max Strus. Michael Porter Jr. is taller than everybody on the court. Bam at the 5, Joker. I was like, oh, whew. If they play the right way, which Denver does, Miami has no shot.
Well, the issue is you don't have Tyler Hero. He would be an excellent asset to this team right now. And you're paying Fat Lowry $40 million.
He's contributed, though. I'm not saying he's worth $40 million. But for what they want, he's doing everything that they expected to get from him.
Yes, but for $40 million, you can either give me 2 20s or give me a guy who's a $40 million player.
Yeah, but that's inconsequential. We talking about the finals now. That's inconsequential. For what right now, whether they're paying a lot for a 6-man.
Lucky to be there. They lucky to be in the club. That's it. Hey, I didn't belong here. I thank y'all for letting me in here. Shout out to security for not DJ Jazzy Jackson me immediately. Hey, I'm enjoy the experience.
The Heat did capitalize on a weak East
though. Let's get to your boy who finna go on restriction.
Oh. Not a restriction.
You remember growing up, you like, man, I think they finna put me on restriction, dog.
Boy about to go to IS. That boy got OSS. Boy ain't even got ISS.
Yes, OSS. Out of season suspension.
But
and I think it's gonna be a lengthy suspension. I think it's, and I also know
what investigation could they have? Okay. I have so much.
Oh, you want to know what the investigation is? All the investigating we did not do the first time. It's when the teacher lets you turn in the homework late that one time, but she like, hey, you have to turn in all your homework on time going forward. And then you don't. So she go back and look at all the times that you did not turn the homework on time. That's what they did. He didn't do no investigation the first time. He didn't. You think he really did a chain of command on that gun? That's Ja's gun in Denver, dog. Cause it's the same gun.
No, it's not. The one in Denver was like a little revolver. This one was, I don't know what the brand, but it wasn't a revolver. I looked at that. Yeah.
But either way, I don't think they did a chain of command on that gun in Denver. Because if you do a chain of command on that gun in Denver, it's either stupid or it's stupid. Either you travel with your gun,
or somebody brought a gun with you in Denver,
or you're waving around somebody else's gun. Just man to man, I don't think that you should be waving around another man's gun. That's not super cool to me. It's very weird. It's that. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I am not really proponent of doing anything that can be deemed detrimental or illegal to my job on tape. So,
but like I feel like a gun is kind of like an intimate possession. Like you don't just let somebody have your gun and be like, oh. Maybe that's
I've never thought about that. I will say I've never thought about that. But let's listen to what Adam Silver had to say about this, because apparently the investigation ain't no joke. Make sure I got all the levels on.
I've had this conversation before. Well, I haven't had it. It's been had with me.
What discipline is appropriate, if that's the case? We look at both the history of prior acts, but then we look at the individual player's history as well. And so that, and the seriousness, of course, of the conduct. So those are all things that get factored. It's not an exact science. It comes down to judgment at the end of the day on the part of me and my colleagues in the league office. In terms of the timing, we've uncovered a fair amount of.
That's all I really needed to hear. I didn't need to hear anything else. When he said we've uncovered a fair amount, when he's telling you that we uncovered a fair amount, that means they are 9mm. Appreciate that, AJ. They are about to drop the hammer, throw the book, slam the cell, put you under the jail, under the proverbial jail, whatever metaphor you could think of for you about to get in trouble. You about to get in trouble. Brother. This is like when you have a corporate job and they say, okay, we're putting you on discipline. And the only thing after discipline is like Ron Artest. I think they're about to Ron Artest them. Give them a year out. I think that's what they're about to do.
No. Okay, so this is what I think actually happens. Number one, the suspension will be more than 20 games, so he will be ineligible for first team, second team, MVP, all of those awards.
That makes sense.
Toast. So they're not gonna let you get rich and not play. They're not gonna let you pull a Tom Brady, take a vacation, play a third of the season well rested, and sweep the awards. That's not happening. That sets a bad precedent. So they're gonna do that. Number one. Now, number two, Memphis, and they have some culpability in this, because they know what their players are doing, and they allow this. And I think
let's when you finish that point, let's stay there for a second. But go ahead, finish your point.
They deserve some culpability, and I think that Adam Silver is probably going to, I kind of tap him on the shoulder. Y'all need to move Ja. I can't formally tell you that you need to trade your star player, but you need to trade your star player. Memphis. Now the thing about it is, Memphis, you should be able to get a haul back for him. But I don't think that Memphis and Ja, it's not a career-long thing for sure.
So let's. It's interesting that you say that the organization deserves some culpability for this too.
For all parties. Let me be very clear. Ja needs to be responsible. The people who surround Ja needs to be responsible.
But why the organization though? He's away from. They're eliminated. He's out of the. He's gone. Because you can't tell. That's like you saying the job should tell you, hey, when you're off, that they still should be able to come tell you what to do.
Yes, that is how the NBA works. Do you not remember when Jerry Jones made sure that Des Bryant had an escort everywhere he went? He couldn't go anywhere by himself anymore. This is the same thing. We're about to pay you a ton of money. So the regular rules for regular people go out the regular door. You're in a
on the
whole
Charles
different
Barkley
space.
side.
Huh?
You're on the Charles Barkley side.
Yeah, absolutely. With this much money, yes. And the NBA is notorious for knowing what their players are doing. You remember when Carmelo Anthony said, yeah, they brought me into a room and told me everybody who I knew. And they said they had an eye on everybody. This ain't a joke. It's only 400 players and $1 trillion. Yeah, we got enough money to know what everybody's doing. And they know.
So the
That's
two
reason
sides
the
on
investigation
this,
didn't take too long.
the two sides on this are you are basically doing conduct detrimental to the organization versus you didn't do anything illegal. A lot of people are saying Ja Morant didn't do anything illegal. He had a gun in Tennessee.
There's no space for legalities here. This is a private organization. You're right. He didn't break a law, so he's not going to jail. But I'm a private organization and you're waving a gun at your head. As simplest, I can't pay you this amount of money because you could have shot yourself in the head. And not even that, he's standing on top of a car. If he would have just fell off the top of the car, bro, are you crazy? Get your ass down and bring me my money.
They are going to. I think they're going to drop the hammer on him. Unfortunately,
Memphis, yeah.
I think they're going to drop the hammer on him. I don't know if they trade him though. I mean, because it's so hard to get a talent like that in the league. It's so difficult to. That's like Philly trading AI after all them problems.
No. I don't think that Memphis will want to trade him. I do think that not owners. I think that the guys who run these different organizations, Adam Silver, what's the guy in the NFL? I can't think of his name right now. I can see his face. Roger Goodell. They have times when they reach out to organizations and tell this organization, you have to do this.
There's no way they get the return back that you think that they would get.
Why not?
He's about to be suspended for an exorbitant amount.
No. He's not traded until he comes back. He's going to come back, and then after he comes back and the situation cools down, I think that there will be, one of those statements to come out. Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant, have decided to go in separate ways. And I think the Grizzlies probably move on from him. I mean, it doesn't help that Memphis as a city doesn't have the best track record. It comes with its own stuff, specifically Dolph and all of that. So all of that together does not look good.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Just about there's a lot of major cities that have the track record.
I understand that, but
I don't like that point.
It's just the optics. It's not whether it's factual or true. It's just how it's human perception, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, one more point though. Memphis the reason that Memphis should be held responsible is that is what they lean into. They've always leaned into that. Zach Randolph, Dylan Brooks, Ja Morant. That's what their culture is.
I think there's a part that you're missing when you say they need to trade Ja Morant. And I know everybody says winning is everything, but that organization that city has embraced Ja Morant the same way that they embraced Zach Randolph.
Zebo. Exactly.
So you are now affecting the economy of the team. When you're saying trade Ja Morant, somebody that is beloved, like there's only so many people that can go to like anywhere in Memphis and be good. He be all over Memphis.
Well,
because he's loved. That is, if you do that, now you're gonna lose ticket sales. You're gonna lose concession money. You're gonna lose all of it.
You did not protect your asset when you had it. You let him wave around a gun the first time. You let him wave it around twice. Well, this is the reason you can't have nice things. You can cry to somebody else. You had it. You weren't ready for it. I'm not going to, at the end of the day, hey, y'all, Memphis, I love you, but it's the NBA, bro. This is where the money is.
Yeah, I guess. Well, we'll see what happens with Ja.
This is important.
Julius Randle underwent arthroscopic surgery on his left ankle and is expected to be ready for the start of New York Knicks training camp. The procedure was performed on Friday and considered successful. So that tells us that Julius Randle was playing hurt for I don't know how long. We don't know how long. We don't know if it happened in game 5 against the Knicks or if it happened in game 4 against Cleveland, if it happened in the regular season. Against the Heat. We don't know when this happened. We just know that he hurt his ankle.
I came to a whole different conclusion. When did the Knicks get put out? Been like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he just not having the surgery right now?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you trade him now?
What is your? You saying he don't want to be traded?
Well, don't matter whether he wants to be or not. You can't trade him now. He's hurt, and you can't trade him until the start of the season, training camp.
So, what?
And he kind of.
So I would say. So what's your point? Are you saying he did this on purpose? Are you saying the Knicks did this on purpose? What are you saying?
I don't know whether it was done on purpose or not. I think that the timing is relatively unique because now he's not tradable to basically start the season. Because if you're a team looking to trade for Julius, he's got to complete the surgery. He's got to go through rehab, and you're going to want to see what he looks like post ankle scope. So yeah, now we're well into the season. Now, will he make it to trade deadline? That's up for debate. But
so are you saying the Knicks want to trade Julius?
I think that is going to be an avenue they at least strongly consider.
So, so yeah, yes. If they're going to consider it, then they want to trade him.
No. Okay, I don't. Okay, so that's not how I believe that to be. If we can find another guy who they like, then yes. But are they just going to trade Julius for the sake of trading Julius? No. So do they want to trade him? It's like 50-50. If I can get something better, but that's most players in the NBA. Can I trade this guy and get a better player? Yes, I always want to do that. But if it's about the same, then probably not.
Well, I think. Well, then I disagree. I think they want to trade him. I think every team that has a player that's really good, but not a generational talent, as you like to say, or a first team All NBA type guy. Like Julius isn't he like 2-time Most Improved winner or award recipient or award nominee? That's difficult to be. Like Julius ain't never gonna be like the generational talent. And I think every player that's not a generational talent, you always evaluate to say, well, I may be able to get somebody better. But I think the difference is, I think them wanting to trade him or entertaining trades is a direct reflection of his performance in the playoffs. I don't think that it's just, we may get somebody better. It is, we are actively looking to find somebody better because we don't want you here anymore. We don't believe in you anymore. But that's what I think. Although, we'll talk about it later. I'll get to that next point.
There are not a lot of guys who you can get better than Julius Randle. At that 4 spot, it's
Jeremy Grant. They get Jeremy Grant is a viable replacement for Julius Randle for what they want.
Maybe, but I mean, does Jeremy Grant really want to come to New York too? New York, you're still
versus
with
Portland. Yeah.
No. He's a free agent. He's an unrestricted free agent.
Well, then you'd have to trade Julius.
Exactly. So, so for me, no. There are not that many players better than him. And I'm not sure if Jeremy Grant is better than Julius Randle. I'm actually more of a Julius Randle fan than a Jeremy Grant fan, to be completely honest. Now, if you're looking for a change of pace, you want something different, you can try Jeremy Grant, but just know you run the risk of betting bad.
Man, Julius Randle's game is the game of a number one, right? He doesn't really play within the flow of an offense. He's more of a ball stopper. You give him the ball, he dribbles, step back three, dribble drives to the
Now-
rim. He's not really a offensive scheme player. So if you're not an offensive scheme player and you're a ball dominant number one, I don't think Julius is worth being that.
See, that's kind of like that to me. That's the James Harden argument about he shoots too many shots, he can't pass. Then you
Julius
actually
Randle
ask
ain't
him to
James
pass.
Harden.
Wait, let me finish. So people believe James Harden, just a ball hog, could never pass the ball. None of the rest of the stuff. He got to Philly. He got to Brooklyn. He started that. He got to Philly, and for the last 2 years, he's basically led the NBA in assists. So in New York, they have asked Julius to be their guy, to their detriment. To sometimes he just can't create the shot by himself. He's not that good of a player. Like that's not his skill set. But do I think that he could go to another team and fit within the offense? Sure, absolutely, absolutely. But
I don't know. His game doesn't show me that he's a number 3 option. Like I think he wants to be 1 or 1A. He's a ball stopper. He's to me, that's what I see.
How do you feel about Julius for Jordan Poole?
Why would they do that?
Why would who do what?
Why would the Knicks do? The Knicks need size. If you get rid of Julius, you're getting rid of your starting 4, unless you're gonna start Obi Toppin.
You drafted him,
so you think Jordan Poole is worth that contract to be the 6th man?
The reason that I like Jordan Poole on the Knicks is he can shoot, and the Knicks don't have guys who can shoot. So yes, you need shooting.
So he's $130 million. He's your starting 2 then, I'm assuming.
Correct.
So you put Grimes on the bench with
Your 1.
No, you got to
Brunson. Your 2 is Poole. Your 3 is RJ Barrett. Your 4 is Obi Toppin. Your 5 is Mitchell Robinson. You then have at least one guy who can shoot, can shoot 3.
Josh Hart and
Right.
Grimes off the bench.
Yep. And if you look at Golden State, you can start Draymond. You can have Julius,
Wiggins,
and Clay.
Then off the bench they have Dante DiVincenzo. You'd have to play what's his name more, Kuminga, because they didn't play Kuminga at all.
Correct. But yes, for the
I don't know. You're higher on Julius, which is befuddling to me. But you're higher on Julius than I am. I think he's reached his peak.
At the end of the day,
I think
it's
this is
not
as good as he's gonna get.
There are not that many 4s who can get you 20 and 10 a night. I've been watching it for the last 5 years. If those guys just do not exist on that regular of a basis, they just don't. It's a very power forward is a very difficult position to find right now. A good one.
I don't think power forward exists. I think it's more of just a forward. And I think. Well,
Yeah,
we
but
won't belabor it because I keep jumping back into it. But
the issue that you run into with a lot of those forwards is they can't rebound. You're right. They can do all the rest of the stuff. They can stand on the wing and shoot. They can attack. But this game is a shooting game. And shooting means you're going to miss shots. You need people who consistently get you 10 rebounds a game. And those guys ain't it.
depending on his contract and when his contract is up, I mean, I wouldn't mind him on the Hawks. Like, I wouldn't. If you trade John Collins and put Julius at the 4, him and DeAndre Hunter would basically be your mid. But Julius be wanting to do step back threes, though, man. If you just take that away and just play big man ball and shoot,
but that's what the Knicks asked him to do. That remember,
nobody asked Julius to do step back threes.
Okay, but they made him the primary scorer. Hey, you score all the points for this team, and then didn't even help him with like getting other people to score. Mitchell Robinson.
But they got
really
RJ Barrett. He was supposed to help.
Okay, well, RJ ain't a one. RJ ain't gonna be the number one on your team.
Neither is Julius.
But you're right. But once again, that's where you look at money. Julius, you get paid the most money. If we need a bucket, we're going to you. Who else? Especially before they had Brunson, Fournier. This
is cool for you to say except for they got Brunson and Julius played the same way. He still stopped the ball. He still did step back threes in the corner. He still shot bad shots. He still did the same thing with Jalen Brunson. They just won more games because they had Jalen Brunson.
But he wasn't that guy when he played in New Orleans, and he wasn't that guy with the Lakers. Also, you know how I feel about Tibbs as a coach. I'll leave that there. I don't have nothing more to say.
I feel like you shooting Julius a whole lot of bail, but that's fine. We have, I guess we have like a bloody Wednesday, Tuesday when they fired all them coaches. But I mean, I always thought the NFL was like super close knit in recycling coaches and coaches getting more jobs even though they're not that good, or becoming assistant coaches or running back coaches. There's more opportunities for the same coaches. It's all about relationships. The NBA just is playing Uno with these. They just shuffling the deck and tossing these coaches around different jobs. And I can't. But this job with Monty Williams to Detroit is so interesting. He becomes the highest paid coach in history after turning it down the day before.
Yeah. So when I look at the Monty Williams situation, I think the draft has played a lot into this. Detroit went into it with the tie for the highest odds of getting the number one pick. They fell to fifth. I think at that point they bailed on the situation. They said, we can't continue to keep trying to play these draft games. It's not working. Let's go pay our coach. We're going to pay him a ton of money because we want this coach, and we're going to try to develop players. And I think that they're going to be aggressive at making trades, because the draft, for whatever reason, I don't think has just worked out in their behalf. And at this point, they have to put together a competitive team. They can't continue. They were the only team last year who I don't think was, I'm not going to say they were trying to lose games, but I don't think if they cared if they won or lost. I think that every other team in the NBA was actively trying to win games. They just could not win.
No, fuck thing. There ain't no way Houston was trying to win games.
Houston was definitely, I'm going to tell you why, because your boy not Kelvin Sampson, that's the U of H coach, but he was doing his damnedest to try to win games.
Yeah, they fired him in the middle of the season, didn't they?
But what I'm saying is,
and San Antonio wasn't trying to win.
San Antonio was definitely trying to win games.
They were in the sweepstakes. They were not
yes.
trying to win.
No. There is a difference. Like, that's the reason I said it specifically the way that I said it. I believe that the Pistons, they punted on Cade as soon as he got hurt. They were like, oh, shut him down for the season. It's over. Now, I think that the Spurs were actively trying to win games specifically because they thought that they had a pretty good chance of getting Wembanyama, and they have a couple players on that team, specifically Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, who are going to be good basketball players. So we need to get this team. What part
that
of
doesn't make sense? That doesn't make sense. If you have a shot at Wembanyama, why that gives? I would think you would tank even more, which to me is what they did, versus trying to win games. That lessens your chances of getting Wembanyama.
I think that the Spurs are a well-run organization, and they knew that even if they tried their hardest, they did not stand a chance. So the best thing that I can do is take this time and develop Keldon Johnson and develop Devin Vassell, who are good basketball players, so that in the event that we have Victor Wembanyama, I don't have to focus on getting these guys prepared to develop because they've already been in the system. We can focus everything on Wemby, and we have two good young players to pair him with, or we can flip these players for vets, because both of those players, Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, are good basketball players.
I agree with everything you're saying about them developing players, and say might as well get them some experience and get them ready for when we get Wembanyama. But that don't equate to them trying to win. That equates to them trying to develop players. I don't think, but that it is what it is. But
We've
back
also,
to this,
we watched them play. Hell, they had the largest comeback we've ever seen against the Hawks. That team was trying to win. They're just a young team that is not equipped to win yet.
Sure.
If you watch the Pistons, they ain't trying to do nothing out there.
So with Monty Williams, what I said earlier was he was so he turned down the job. I think this was announced 2 days ago,
They
4 days
made him
ago.
a offer he
Four
could
days
not
ago, he
refuse.
turned down the job. 2 days ago, he accepts the job, and they make him the highest paid coach in NBA history, which is so baffling because you're. I hate talking bad about him because he's Monty Williams. He's the nice guy. He's been through everything. He's paid his dues. He's a player love coach, except for DeAndre Ayton. But your teams came up short in the worst way 2 years in a row. In the worst way. Your team your team quit on you for 2 years. They quit on you.
Wait.
They quit on you this year. They quit on you last year. They quit on you. And at the end of the day, you now go into a worse situation where I think you are a good player development coach, but I don't think making you the highest paid coach justifies hiring Monty Williams. I can't see why you would pay him that much money. I can't see it.
I do. Like you said, he's a player's coach. And the only player that he really had an issue with was DeAndre Ayton. I said when they fired him, and now Ishbia is the new owner, understands he's a high character coach. I think the majority of players like him. And the only way that you were going to get Monty Williams, I think they made him an offer, and it was probably a regular offer, probably a good offer. He said, nah, I'm not going to Detroit for a good offer. They said, hold on, let me go get my checkbook. When they came back and said, we'll make you the highest paid coach in NBA history, and this could be $100 million contract.
And I think the money was a big thing. I think that he has zero expectations is really why you take this job. You have zero expectations next year. You are not expected unless of course you flip some of these assets that you have. They're another team like the Magic that have a shit ton of big men. So maybe you flip some of these assets and get you somebody that's good. And I'm saying somebody that's elite level.
Yeah.
But as of now, he's getting paid all this money to chill. Like you have to just go there and show improvement. That's all you got to do.
Yes. Well, they're looking to stabilize the organization. I'm telling you, them dropping to 5th, even though it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, going from 1, 2, 3, dropping to 5th, I think at that point they're like, all right, well, that didn't go the way we wanted it to. We tried that way. We have to stabilize this organization because this is still Detroit basketball. So in that case, let's get a guy who we believe in. We have a guy who's respected universally, and we probably don't have another way of getting a coach this good. So you just pay him the money. He could be a guy who could fix this organization, and then we could be a competitive basketball team. Because right now, without that, it ain't nothing there. So, and you also know that players like him, so you have a higher chance of being able to win. Now you're going to have to overpay for players again, but you're going to be able to get some people in the door who can start winning the game. Because you got to get to a point where the other part is like Cade. You got to get your young players used to winning games. It's the reason the Falcons went with Marcus Mariota. If the team doesn't believe that they can even get close to winning, then they're going to quit. They're not going to train. They're not going to watch tape. They're going to say we're going to lose anyway. So the culture has to change to where you believe that at least we can be competitive as an NBA team.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out in Detroit. The Suns hiring Frank Vogel tells me one thing. That this is going to be a player-led team. Similar to the Bubble Lakers team when they won the championship and they had LeBron.
KD's the coach.
No, KD's not the coach. Coach is Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the coach. Chris Paul is going to be there sitting on. He's the one going to be trying to sit down and if they keep him. Now,
that's the reason. That is the reason that Chris Paul cannot be the coach. It's not guaranteed, and I believe that it's highly likely that he is not even there next year. So
they are crazy. Not for that. There's no way I would have picked DeAndre Ayton over Monty Williams. There's no way.
I agree with you there. I think, but
they are crazy.
So this is the part that so you got to remember, Ishbia thinks he was a basketball player. He thinks that he's a basketball mind. I think he used to own, run, whatever, Rocket Mortgage. So he's a person who believes in himself. He looks at DeAndre Ayton as an asset, a 7-foot basketball player who is well-rounded. Then you look at Monty Williams, a coach. I can probably find another coach. I probably can't find a guy who's as skilled as DeAndre Ayton. Does that mean that you make that decision? I would not. I would have gotten DeAndre Ayton out of there and got assets for him.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton is the 10 man.
But 100%, I think that's what Ishbia did, and we're gonna see. That's the best part about all of this is we're gonna see how it works out. But I'm 100% on board with you. You keep Monty. You get rid of Ayton. There are a plethora of big men who will be available, and you can get some of your money back to get some more assets.
You could have. The Suns are dumb. The Suns were dumb last year by matching DeAndre Ayton, and not trading him. The Suns were dumb. You should have traded him to Indiana where he wanted to go and got Miles Turner. You are dumb. You then go and trade and get. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love KD. KD's 35. You went up there and got hoodwinked, bamboozled, and traded away probably the best two-way player in the game, if not top 5. And I think he's in the running to be Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken.
Next up. And I'm going to tell you, if
Brooklyn... And wait, hold on. Then they traded Cam Johnson, too, who was playing really well. Now, you did have to pay all of them, but you traded it for KD, who is very difficult. He hurt himself in warm-ups now. He's pretty much getting real close to the glass man. So he's good when he's healthy, but we don't know how long he's going to be healthy. And you fired a really good coach for a player that's the 10 man that does not have a heart. Yeah. I don't know when Ishbia bought the team, but if he bought the team 14 months ago, 24 months ago.
No, it ain't been that long.
You, sir, have started off real rough.
No. All of that stuff. I'm going to tell you when Ishbia bought the team. I think it was right around the time that they got Kevin Durant. I think he was the one that did that. That's not any – because you remember Robert Sarver has been out. He's been out for a while. But if Brooklyn can find a way to pawn Ben Simmons off on anybody else, that is their only –
They're going to have to buy him out. They're going to have to buy him out.
Nah, once again, I've seen it. John Collins for Ben Simmons.
It looks good. It's not good because he can't shoot. But, again, if Ben Simmons, to me, has fallen into the Tobias Harris realm, we here now. Let's go ahead and take Vogel off the screen. Ben Simmons has fallen into the Tobias Harris thing for me.
Oh, yeah,
his contract is awful, which makes it awful. But Ben Simmons, if you played him as the Warriors play Draymond Green, I think he would be a great asset to them. He can drive. He'll have to learn how to do something at the rim, but he can facilitate and he can guard the 1 through the 4. And you have a stable organization with good leadership that may be able to get his head right. I think that's the way that you go. That's where you go. If I'm Golden State and I'm trying to get off Draymond, why not?
Heart. Draymond's greatest asset. He's a great defender, great facilitator. His heart is his greatest asset. Ben Simmons does not even play basketball. Ben Simmons got hurt not playing basketball and has just not played basketball ever since. Why
don't we ever talk about John Wall the way we talk about Ben Simmons?
Because John Wall actually tries to play basketball. He just hurt. There's a difference in being hurt and Trae Young broke you and then he's never played basketball again.
Yeah.
Think about how long ago that was.
Yeah. So we'll see. Phoenix, I'm interested, like you said, all of these coaches, including Nick Nurse going to Philly from Toronto. Y'all know I am not a fan of Nick Nurse. I am not a fan of Nick Nurse. I
Nope.
think he stole a ring.
From Dwayne Casey.
Yeah, who was, again, you know how crazy it looks to fire the coach of the year and go get the assistant coach and then give him all the credit after you go get the best two-way player in the game. The best at the time, Kawhi Leonard was the best player possibly in the game, best two-way player in the game. You go get him, and now Nick Nurse is this hot commodity. Nick Nurse ain't been hired in like 50 since they won the championship.
I think that Philly has a thing where they like to hire bad coaches.
I would like Monty Williams to go to Philly.
110%, maybe 120%. What's the dude who they had from Philly to start out with? Who used to look like Brian Williams? I forgot his name. They fired him. Then they got Doc. Doc was bad, and I think Nick Nurse is just another bad hire. And I think it's it's
Brown.
high pressure.
That's you talking about Brown.
Yeah, Bruce Brown.
Nope.
Brian Brown, Bruce Brown. Ray was good. But whatever it was, Brett Brown. That's it.
It was good, Ray.
Yeah, but I think that was a bad hire. Doc was not a good hire. I think Nick Nurse is going to be a bad hire. And I think Nick Nurse is going to be the final straw for Embiid. Eventually, after this don't work.
You said if it don't work. Because Embiid said he wanted to be coached by Nick Nurse. That was one of the reasons they hired him. Same way that they hired Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee.
Correct.
Same thing. The star player vouched for him. Embiid said he wanted to be coached by Nick Nurse.
Okay. We're gonna see now, and then tell them what this looks like in 2 years.
Especially the same thing it looks like when every player plays GM, except for LeBron, because you normally get a ring out of it when he plays GM, but then you're set back 10 years.
Yep. And the other part about this is Nick Nurse does not want James in Philly.
No, he doesn't. And I don't know if he said he doesn't. Well, he doesn't want him, and I also think he knows that. I think that the whole entire organization moving forward already knows that James is out the door. I think Nick. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you faking like you didn't want James there." He very well could want James there, but I think he has prior knowledge to taking this job that, hey, James Harden probably is not going to be here next year. And I think when they asked him, he was more like, "Oh, well, I can't let that leak because that's tampering and all that stuff." But I think more of, instead of you saying he doesn't want James Harden, I think it was more of James Harden already told y'all, I don't care who y'all hire. I'm out the door. I'm gone.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if the Sixers without James Harden and left with Tobias Harris.
Well, it's already been said that they about to poach a whole lot of people from Toronto. I don't think Toronto has a coach yet, do they?
I don't think so either.
Who's in contract negotiations?
And I'm going to tell y'all, keep your head on a swivel for Houston. Those players do like Udoka. I think that as much as I want Jaylen Brown to be an Atlanta Hawk, I could very well see him.
They already said they're going after him in Houston. And Ime Udoka has already taken like 3 assistants from that Celtics.
You see it? You see it, right?
Yeah. You got to get that Celtics. They're taking from Missoula's staff. He's taking 3 assistants. And I didn't think about it, but a lot of those assistants that are leaving,
those are his guys.
Missoula stepped over them to get that job. Well, they put Missoula over. He was the second bench guy, as you said on the podcast, and they put him over him to do that.
That's gonna rub a bunch of people the wrong way. It is, and that's Udoka's staff. So these were my guys to begin with. Then you did not pick you picked the successor out of line. If they pull somebody from behind you and give that person a raise in front of you, that's going to be like, wait, hold on. This guy and
vicious.
And on top of that, he's 35 years old, like 34 years old. So this is probably people who have more experience and were higher up on the list who got passed by Missoula. And you got to rock it out to see if y'all win a title. If you win a title, then you just got to, eat crow and deal with, and, hate in silence. Y'all didn't even win. oh, I'm gonna go down here to Udoka where they got plenty of money, and it's in Houston, and this is my guy. Oh man,
So
yeah, I'll
if you
take
have
this
the
all day.
option, do you pick James Harden or Jaylen Brown? Because
Both.
that's who the two people on the list for them are.
Both.
You
Why not? Yes, you can. You max Jalen and you pay James Harden a decent amount of money. And
So
there you
James
go.
is back to being the one.
Yes. James at the 1, Jalen Green at the 2, Jaylen Brown at the 3, Jabari Smith at the 4, Alperen Sengun at the 5. And
You'd have
boy,
to
you
assume
got
that you'd have to trade Jalen Green.
No, you don't.
Oh, so you talking about 2025? The 2024?
Oh, for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, then, yeah, you can get Jalen Green. No, that don't work. The money don't work on that.
Yeah, you'd have. Yeah.
I will have
You
to
got to
think
make
about
that money. I mean, he's getting paid like $28-something million a year. So I mean,
Nah,
you could
that
probably
money-
play. You could send two players. You could send a big
No.
and a small or guard to. Right now,
You-
you'd have to get
you
him,
could-
and then you'd have to re-sign him.
You could probably do the Jalen Green for Jaylen Brown because the money will go down for the Celtics, so you wouldn't be worried about the salary cap. And Houston has enough money that it wouldn't put them over the cap, so it will be fine. The only time you're looking to match money if both teams are like over the cap.
Well, Boston gonna take more than Jalen Green.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
probably-
give up a
have to go-
big. You have to give up a big. They gotta
that?
backfill that Al Horford. Al Horford's 38.
Right.
He ain't about to.
Draft picks. All the draft picks you got from for James Harden from Brooklyn, which one you want? Get them. What you want? We got draft picks. I have my own draft picks and have everything that Brooklyn paid me to get James Harden. Let's do it.
It could happen. This
And-
oh
And for the best part about that is you got Alperen Sengun, who is going to be like your new Domantas Sabonis joker, rebounder, passer, but can shoot 5. You take a lot of pressure off of Jabari Smith as the second pick, underperforming because you've surrounded him with Jaylen Brown and James Harden, who will help. Then you have really 2 facilitators. So Sengun can pass the ball out of the post, and James Harden has led the league in assists for the last 2 years. I like it. And AJ does too.
yeah, we'll see. So I will say a lot of this will depend on what goes on this offseason. It's hard to say what's gonna happen in the NBA because of the collective bargaining agreement and how all these things are gonna trade. We were gonna talk about DeAndre Hopkins, but we don't know where he's gonna end up. A lot of the teams that said that they were trying to get him have been out. I think it'll be Buffalo. I say keep your eye on Atlanta. You still got like $20 million in cap to spend. But we'll talk about that Monday in our football segment.
Yeah.
So that being said, man, Nord, if we ain't miss anything, take us out.
All right. Like we said to start, like,
Bop,
follow,
bop.
subscribe, tell people about the podcast. Thank you guys for rocking with us on this beloved Saturday morning. We did put out a pod last week. Check it out. We also put out a playlist, 36 hot fire songs. I'm trying to deliver another 36. It may be 24. I got to spend some time and listen. But thank you guys again. Of course, the website, thesplashcast.com. And outside of that, adios, mi amigos. Until we meet again, it ain't but one thing to do now. And what is that, my friend Reg? Hang out.
We out of here. Y'all stay safe. I'm going to post this because we're only doing one episode. I'm going to go ahead and post this on Spotify and as well. It's already on YouTube under the live as well. So you'll be able to go back and listen to it as well if you missed it. Appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe. Love y'all.
Enjoy some beverages on my behalf. Turn that thing up this weekend.